Hello everybody, Brad Johnson here. I know it's been a while since I've done a video, but I am now back home from Tokyo, Japan. And I'm also very excited to do, once again, another Adronis video. Now, of course, in previous videos, I've been saying that I'm going to be just doing a lot of communication through spirit as one voice. But when I was in Japan, I was creating a book for the company that I was contracted with. And this is going to be a special Adronis book that is available in Japanese. And a lot of the channeling that I did for the book with Adronis, I would have to say, was probably the most profound channeling I have ever done. It was really powerful. Adronis came in just really, really strongly, and he just shared a great depth of information relating to a multitude of different topics. But one of the most exciting topics that he shared was more about his origin. And that's what I want to share about in this video. So again, I have said that I'll just bring Adronis in through special request, but this is, in its own way, a type of special request just for myself, because it was really, really fascinating hearing Adronis's background in regards to himself as a sixth density consciousness. And that's what we're going to be hearing from him in this video relating to, is that of a sixth density consciousness, and also looking into his particular background altogether. So this is why I'm doing this video, and I may also do a few more Adronis videos as well too, just based on a lot of the highlights that was focused on in the book. So yes, Adronis videos will still continue here on this channel for, again, these really amazing topics. So I will go ahead now and take a moment to connect with Adronis, and we'll begin with Adronis on sixth density consciousness. Here we go. We are here. At this time, we bid you greetings, and thank you very much for the opportunity of this interaction today. I am Adronis of Sirius, and we send love, appreciation, and gratitude to all who are tuning into this broadcast through your internet collective consciousness. We have been asked by the conduit to share insight as it relates to the idea of what you would know as ourselves as a sixth density consciousness. Now, there have been questions regarding what we are, how we exist. How exactly can we exist within a star and still have this particular type of communication with all of you? Well, we have discussed in the past that the nature of ourselves would be very much that of starlight consciousness. Now, when we say starlight consciousness, we are not saying that we are simply a flame of light, and that you are simply communicating with this particular flame of light and therefore receiving all of this information. No. The whole idea is that we once existed as what you term as a type of physical being, existing within the third planet of the star system that you understand as Sirius A. And that we were, again, what you would know as, shall we say, solitary people. And that mainly our existence related to the idea of connecting to the Creator, of wanting to work more deeply, understanding greatly our spiritual connection to everything that exists. And so throughout many cycles of time, going back thousands and thousands of your years, as you would say, that there had been a particular point where we had been able to completely ascend ourselves off the third planet of Sirius A, and that we had joined together as a consciousness into the star of Sirius. And that is where we now reside. Now, when Brad himself is speaking to us, it is not the idea of one particular version of Adronis speaking all of the time. It is a fluctuation of many different versions of ourselves as it relates to the information that is looking to be shared. And so we primarily exist as memory existing within the star of Sirius A. For that's really what all stars are made out of. They are made out of memory of light. So when you connect directly to a star, you are connecting to the epicenter of knowledge that again connects and establishes itself with all other stars, with all other phenomena of life throughout this galaxy and other galaxies and more galaxies, and connecting to what you would know as the micro to the macrocosmic, where we are also aware of all life on other planets. We are aware of the planetary consciousness themselves. We are aware of the star consciousness themselves, to galactic consciousness, to the consciousness of nebula, to the consciousness of other particular forms of phenomenology existing within the cosmos that you really don't even have a current term for, and that we connect with those forms of energy. We are singularity in the best way of describing it. So when Brad is actually connecting to our energy, he is connecting to the memory of us. Now, we as Adronis simply represent a liaison consciousness based upon a collective that is speaking through this conduit at this time, in this very moment. So we do not have what you would term as a physical body like yours, but there was a particular period where we were somewhat physicalized, where you would understand the Nordic consciousness, as it were, representing that of beings approximately 6'8" to 7'5", holding what you would know as blue eyes, possessing blonde hair, again, 2 arms, 2 legs, human, just like yourselves, somewhat pointed ears to what you would understand, very similar to what you would know as your elves. But again, we were a society that was very much solitary, and that our planet, very much an Earth-like planet just like yours, but again held much more of a crystalline technology, which means that much of our dwellings, that much of our power sources were all completely comprised of crystalline nature. And so that we existed in what you would know as crystalline domiciles. And crystalline in that sense, energy centers that powered the entire planet. For it was the idea of the inner core of our planet that was therefore siphoning energy and connecting itself through all of the crystals that existed upon our planet. So it is very much Earth-like. It still does exist within our density. But again, there is other life forms contained upon that planet. We are no longer contained upon that planet as what you would know as a type of Nordic race. That if we were to overlay the idea of our existence, of to when this took place from our 5th density to 6th density integration, we would estimate that this took place approximately 48,500 years ago, and therefore, that's throughout this time, Brad will therefore fluctuate in regards to a collective energy of our particular consciousness that would represent, in your time, from what you would know as your 2019, up into our current probable reality, we would estimate that approximately 75,637 years of this particular version of Adronis is therefore being spoken to at this time. So, it is not so much about the idea of the span of years. That is only a convenience relating to the probability of our existence correlating together with yours. It really is that, again, as we exist as a multitude, a non-linearity of consciousness. And that our species, as you would say, our society, our civilization, is one with the star of Sirius. And that there are many different intelligences that exist within the star of Sirius A alone. It is incalculable. It would be like trying to adequately and accurately describe how many drops of water are in your vast oceans. It can't really be calculated at this particular time. And so the number is so grand, we really can't share it with you, because your number system doesn't even go up that high. But there is, in that sense, a large facet of intelligence on a collective level that exists within Sirius A. Now, again, as we have stated, we are very much aware of many other forms of consciousness that exist throughout the stars. Again, it is vast, and that we are able to speak to all of these consciousnesses individually and also on a collective level. And what you are speaking of right now is not just our, as it were, knowledge, but is the knowledge of the collective, not only through the star of Sirius A, but through the other corresponding stars that we are able to connect with. And this, again, represents the vastness of our knowledge, the vastness of our insight. And again, attempting to bring it into a language like English at many times can be quite challenging. But nonetheless, yes, throughout our fourth and fifth density history, we did exist on a planet much like yours, again, much more crystal, more crystallized than the idea of, shall we say, just Earth-like. You would understand the idea, again, of an Earth-like planet with a great deal of crystal intelligence, with a great deal of crystal structures existing all throughout the planet. Where the nighttime came, we could see all the stars in the sky. We could see nebula. We could even see galaxies at a distance, simply because our eyesight at that particular time, existing in that physical body, was, shall we say, on a much more grander degree. And that we are able to look at the stars almost like a built-in telescope, and that we can actually see distant galaxies. That we could even see distant planets in movement as well, too. Not just through the idea of our physical eyes, but also through the idea of our mental understandings as well, too. Our mental prowess, being able to connect to other planets, and being able to communicate with the planets directly, with the stars directly, with the other galaxies directly. And as you evolve and move yourselves into greater aspects of density and dimension, you too will be able to do this as well. You will feel like your eyes are turning into, as you would say, binoculars or telescopes, and you will be able to see not only other stars more up close, but you'll also be able to see planets. You'll be able to look at a greater distance, and you'll be able to see other galaxies. You'll be able to see nebula. You'll be able to communicate with it as well, just as we have. And so, throughout our fourth density existence, our fifth density existence, and of course to where we exist here and now, communicating with this conduit in the sixth density consciousness, we exist as memory. And as memory, you can access any particular point of ourselves that truly go beyond time, because there will always be this version of ourselves existing within the star of Sirius A. And as long as this star exists, you will be able to connect with us, because that consciousness that we ourselves have connected to has always been there. It does not focus on the idea of linear space and time. It connects to the idea of you being stellar consciousness, star consciousness, and therefore all that represents the universe is in easily aspect form of connection that you are able to connect to. All aspects of the universe are within our intelligence and can so also be with yours. We thank you for this interaction. We will now conclude and return to the conduit. Goodbye for now. Okay, some really profound, amazing information there from Adronis, and I'm thanking Adronis for coming through and sharing all of that information. It was, again, much more deeper than a lot of the background that he's shared about himself in the past as well, too. So again, there are some really other great highlights that are contained in the book altogether, so I will be doing some future videos for that as well, too. Again, as it just blew me away with a lot of the deep information that Adronis has shared on multiple topics, and maybe it's because I'm able to connect right up from spirit now, from the top down, and being able to access it, but it has really been an amazing experience communicating with Adronis recently and sharing a great depth of this knowledge all together with us. So thank you so much, everybody, for tuning in, and I will speak to you again in another perspective of the now. Take care, and namaste.